All right, everybody, welcome back to Silvernest Homeschool. Mom of 4, homeschooling for 12 years is what's left on the shelves after those 12 years and before we're finished homeschooling, because we still have more kids that are coming through the system. And we are on shelf 8 out of I don't know how many, but we will get through them all one day at a time. So let's see what we've got on the shelf. This one is mostly, I think, American history. We've got Little Town on the Prairie and the whole Laura Ingalls Wilder set from Farmer Boy, The Long Winter, which every time I get super cold, I pull this book out to remind myself how blessed I am. I didn't actually read these books until I was homeschooling because my sister really liked them and I didn't want to like anything she liked. So I had my own series, but once we began to read them, all of my girls really liked them. The first 4 years, obviously these are not in order. If you love these books, you're like, well, these are not in order. All right. And in the back are more of them. So I have some double copies because when my kids love them so much, I'll try to get extra copies so that they have their own copies. Let's see. We've also got some other American history. Understood Betsy, which is all about a little girl named Elizabeth. And she has 2 sets of aunts she gets to live with. One of them babies her and makes her feel like she has no skills or ability, and she starts losing confidence in herself. And the other ones, they treat her so like a grown-up that she starts to learn skills and abilities and kind of overcomes and conquers her anxiety. But it was written way back in the day. Like, this is not a modern book, early 1900s. And so really helpful to me as a parent, but also really interesting for my kids and a lot of funny stuff in it. All right. These are the 5 Little Peppers series, 5 Little Peppers and How They Grow, 5 Little Peppers at School, 5 Little Peppers Midway. My kids, I think my husband began to read the first one to them and they enjoyed it with him, reading them. I loved these books when I was a kid. And so they're super saccharine, super sweet, super impossible. This very poor family. Like, mom is trying to feed this family in a time period where mom's not allowed a job. So she sews to try to raise money. And it's all the things that the family does to pull together. And then the fun miracles that happen to them because they're so kind and nice when this other gentleman gets to step into their life and help them out. But they really are super kind and nice to each other and they never fight, which is, I mean, if they do fight, they cry because they didn't mean to fight. So Wheel on the School. Oh, this one was so good. Again, discovered this on my homeschooling journey. It's set in Holland and it's all about a group of kids who decide to bring the storks back to their village, and they have to find different ways to put things on their houses so the storks will nest there, and they all pull together, and there are not a lot of kids in their community. And so it's really interesting how the children having this dream brings the whole community together. The Not Just Anybody Family. Betsy Briars. Again, tried to get my kids to read this series. I remember Betsy Briars from when I was a kid, but I don't think any of them actually read it, even though it looks super interesting with the flying. Caddy Woodlawn. This is one of my favorite childhood ones and one of my daughter's favorites. It's about a frontier family and a girl who decides to be brave and go against the status quo, thinking that Native Americans are the enemies, and actually puts herself in danger to try to stop a war between the settlers and the Native Americans. And she has a lot of great adventures. Is super funny. She doesn't like convention, so she's always doing kind of crazy things. And then this is the second book, Magical Melons. They did make a movie out of Caddy Woodlawn, and this actress played her, but this book has nothing to do with that. So I always thought it was really funny that that's the copy I have, since she's not even in. Anyway, hilarious. The One of a Kind, All of a Kind Family Downtown. I've showed you, I think, one of these books on one of the earlier shelves. So this is my second copy. This one was also a homeschool recommended book, Benjamin West and his cat Grimmelkin. This is a recommended reading for a lot of our history curriculums that we've used. And I haven't read it, but apparently the kids liked it. So I do love Marguerite Henry, though. She's the one that wrote Misty of Shintotig and stuff like that. So, all right, Kildee House. We started this one about a man who lives in the redwoods and builds his house and ends up making friends. He's very lonely. He makes friends with all these animals. I should probably finish this. I started reading it out loud to my daughter, but it just didn't end up being the I don't know. I have trouble. I start books with her and then I get busy. So, and she's old enough to read them herself. Sometimes actually that is a technique of mine. I'll start a book with a kid that can read the chapter book and then I'll stop hoping that they'll pick up the book and read it. It has worked before, but it didn't work with this one. My favorite mystery series by Peggy Parrish, Clues in the Woods, The Ghost of Cougar Island, Pirate Adventure Island, Key to the Treasure, The Haunted House, Hermit Dan. There are no actual hauntings. Everything in it has puzzles that the kids have to solve themselves, and probably set in the 50s. And I absolutely love my old copy that I've had since I was a kid, and I'm always looking for more copies that are older. And so, but it's about 3 siblings that go out and actually solve things, and they'll put like the crossword puzzles or the clues in there for you as the reader to try to solve. And one of my kids likes Narwhal, Unicorn of the Sea. I'm iffy, but she wanted to keep it not on her room, so I'm kindly keeping this here for her. Absolutely nothing to do with the shelf. I should probably move it somewhere else. All right, I love old books. So here's some of my old books. Some of these I have in the modern copy, like this is my old copy of Five Little Peppers and How They Grew, because this is how they were first printed, but I wanted to have reader copies that the kids could just grab and bang around. Oh, drop that one. So much for being gentle. Bells on Their Toes. This is the second book to Cheaper by the Dozen. I love this book too. And Cheaper by the Dozen was all based on a true story of this husband and wife who were efficiency experts in the 20s and 30s. And then this second book, the husband dies at the end of the first book. And so it's all about how the mom pulls the family together, and they have 12 children. So one of them did pass away. So in this book, there are 11, and it's how she gets all of them through college and all the adventures and hijinks they have. My kids really enjoyed it as well. We did it as a real aloud. Little Men by Louisa May Alcott. Again, my favorite series of this is The 8 Cousins and The Rose and Bloom. But I don't mind Little Men. I really don't like Little Women. I'm probably one of the only people in the world who loves old books and doesn't like Little Women. Sorry. I love Pollyanna, however. Eleanor H. Porter. This is about a girl who's determined to go to high school, whose mom is determined to not let her go to school. And so she never tells her like the clothes that she needs or the food that she needs, or she has to buy her books. And so it's about how she overcomes. It's in the Limberlost. I think it's maybe Illinois or up north, that she ends up collecting butterflies and moths in order to sell, and specimens to be able to pay for her school. And then her mom ends up coming around. But it's definitely an overcoming tale. I have most of Porter's books. She again wrote back in like the early 1900s. I love these old Disney books based on the movies. They're not really well done per se, but they're just nostalgia for me. And The Snowmobile is one of my favorite movies from there. I love all the old 1960s Disney movies in general. And so when I found this, I'm like, oh, I have to have it. Kate Douglas Wiggin. This book she was an author who wrote, my brain today. This is a biography of her, and written by Miriam M. Mason. What was her famous book? Today, my brain does not have it, and it's not on this pile. But it's all about how they started the Montessori system in America and began to work with that system. And then she was also a writer, and so this gal really liked her stuff, and so ended up writing a book about her. I apologize. I will put it in the comments of what book I'm thinking of. My goodness. It's a classic like Pollyanna and Anne of Green Gables and Little Women. It's one of those type books, but today I can't remember. Carol Riley Brink, Baby Island. It's all about some girls that live their fantasy. They actually get shipwrecked on a desert island with babies and have to take care of them and love it, that's the fantasy part. They love it. I think it's hilarious. All right, our second copies of the Little House on the Prairie books. The Long Winter, The First 4 Years, Happy Golden Years, Little House on the Prairie, On the Banks of Plum Creek, By the Shores of Silver Lake, and the very first one, Little House in the Big Woods. And then I Love the Moffats, and this was the one I had as a kid, so I was really excited to find a hardback version by Eleanor Estes. Again, it's a family that does fun, crazy things, and in this case, they decide to invent a museum for all their friends to come and see their artifacts from the Moffat family. I always called them Mofats, but my kids always call them Moffats. So super funny, super hilarious. Obviously the artwork is extremely well done, but I do still really like it. And later on, you'll probably find a few more of these series on my shelves. I did not tidy any of these shelves for you guys. This is just how it really is right now in the middle of the random year. Yeah, sometimes I'll tidy at the beginning of the school year or the end of the school year, but this is what you get. All right, I hope that was fun or interesting or helpful. Again, I can't remember why I can't remember that one book, but so be it. These are a bunch of great series. If you find them floating around, I would recommend this series for ages read out loud, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, read themselves, all the way maybe to 5th grade. Really good. So hope you're having a great day. Hope this was fun. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you have any of these are your favorite books, or you can tell me why you love Little Women, that would be great. And we will see you soon.